Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the second step of active listening process, which is staying present and receiving the message from the speaker. This may sound simple, but our brain usually wants to jump to conclusions, compare what we have heard with our own experience, prepare response, solution, or advice, or simply get distracted. Staying present is the ability to notice those impulses and come back to the present moment anyway. Okay, now let's break down this step into the practical actions. The first action is noticing when your mind drifts, and the most important part is that you should know that your mind will drift anyway. That is normal. Because you might start thinking, what should I say next? This reminds me of something, or I disagree with this. The skill is not to stop the thoughts from happening, because you can't. The skill is to notice them and gently return your attention to the present moment with no frustration, no judgment, and no shame. Just come back again and again. The second action is resisting the urge to interrupt. Interrupting often comes from an excitement or a desire to help or a fear of forgetting your point. But honestly, it doesn't really matter that much that what was your reason for interrupting, because it sends a message to the speaker that what I have to say is more important than what you are saying right now. One good habit as a solution is that you can always keep a note in your conversations and write down keywords from your thoughts as a reminder so you don't forget them. And please don't get me wrong, I didn't mean that you should stop talking and just keep listening for hours. By interruption, I meant bad interruption, which is interrupting the speaker in the middle of their sentences and their thoughts. There are also good interruptions, which are not only fine, but necessary for having a conversation. Otherwise, it's not a conversation. It's a one-direction speech. Somebody speaks and you just listen. A good interruption works like this. You listen for a natural pause and breath, which is usually a sign that they have completed a point. Then you can step in gently with one of these respectful phrases. Can I pause you for a moment? Or let me reflect what I'm hearing. Or let's have a pause here for a moment. I want to make sure I'm following. These phrases show that you're engaged, you're not dismissing them, and you're helping structure the conversation. Okay, now let's go to the next action, which is noticing nonverbal cues. In active listening, we don't just listen to the words, we also pay attention to the tone of voice, pace of speaking, pauses and hesitations, facial expressions, and also body language. Sometimes what is not said is much more important than what is said. For example, someone says, I'm fine, but their tone of voice is low and slow. So it shows that there is definitely something important to explore. It is only possible to catch these nonverbal signs if you are completely present. That is why being present is so important in active listening. The next action is using minimal encouragers, which are simple short phrases that show our engagement and invite the speaker to continue. For example, you can say, I see, go on, or just nodding your head. An important tip here is that you shouldn't overuse them mechanically. They should feel authentic and genuine. I personally try to nod my head very lightly and use as a habit to show that I'm following. You can also try and see what behavior feels authentic to you and use them in the right moments in your conversations. And finally, the last micro action is maintaining eye contact. Think of it as the channel of connection, not staring. Notice when you're looking at somewhere else and just gently come back to the speaker again. So, let's wrap it up. In this lecture, we learned that the second step of active listening process is staying present and receiving the message from the speaker, whether they are verbal or coming from non-verbal cues. Also, in this step, we learned 5 actions. Noticing when our mind drifts and gently coming back to the present moment, resisting the urge to interrupt, noticing non-verbal cues, and using minimal encouragers, and finally, maintaining eye contact. Please focus on this step, practice those 5 actions in your next conversation, and also share your experience of that exercise in the comment sections. In the next lecture, we will learn about understanding the meaning of the message, which is the next step of active listening process. See you there.